Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Elizibar. We're going to talk about Speed of Light, Issue 1. Now, Speed of Light, SOL, that can have some other entirely different meanings. Let me click out a little bit here so you can take in like most, if not all of this cover in one go. Got this cool looking sci-fi lady on it. She's clearly a cyborg. She's got like an extra arm back here. Honestly, this kind of reminds me of something I would have seen in, what was that book? A couple years ago had, I think it was Isad Ribic. I don't know how to pronounce his name. On the art, um, like verse or something like that. It was all about like sci-fi gladiatorial corporate game combat stuff. Anyway, I digress. It looks like something you'd see in that book. She's got like this extra arm, which is one holding the gun, where her arm should be here. She's got like this bunch of crazy tentacles. I don't know how this gun fits in. Like, does she have a machine gun foot? Because that would be awesome if she does. But I suspect the gun is just like kind of sitting there. She's got swords. She's got a gun over here, wearing next to nothing because it's hot as an oven. You know how it goes when you're doing this kind of stuff. Scroll down. Now there's 9 stories in this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's an anthology. It's supposed to be bi-monthly, black and white. I think is what I saw on the Kickstarter. Or I'm sorry, the Indiegogo. It's still in demand over there. I was sent this by the publisher to do a review. So there's your full disclosure. If you think that's affecting my judgment, now you know. The first story is called 7200, and it's because this guy's got a watch. Right there, you see it? It's definitely a post-apocalyptic story. He wakes up in a place that's near the seashore. You can see like a bridge or something back here. In fact, some of the first commentary he says is talking about like the salty air, the pollution in it. One of the problems with doing a review of an anthology like this is I don't get to spend a lot of time with each individual story. In general, this was a good first story. Like, that's my opinion of this. We come in here, we establish like this grungy, post-apocalyptic kind of sci-fi thing. Like maybe it's a little Mad Max. Kind of early to tell at this point. We're only on the second page of the story. The art here feels more like a caricaturist, and I don't mean this in a bad way. Okay, I want to make that clear. It feels a lot like a caricaturist doing the art as opposed to like a traditional comic artist. I don't know if that's true, but I see little things in his shading work when he's like trying to apply detail to this guy where it's squiggles and not like hachures. So he's either coming from that caricaturist kind of background where they do this kind of thing a lot of if you go look at a lot of caricaturists, they'll like hide messages and stuff in the squiggles, or he was doing this very, very quickly because a lot of comic book artists, if they were going to do this, they would have either just like painted this flat black, or they would have like actually done like little individual hachures. They wouldn't have just kept the pin down and kept going. That's just my observation. I don't mean anything by it. I thought it was interesting. It's a little different from the kind of stuff I normally look at. So that's why it stuck out to me. I love the skeleton dude here. When he gets his gear off, skeleton dude totally got brained very painfully. And then he's like cuffed or something here. So they just like staked him out and left him to die. It's a brutal world this guy's found himself in as time ticks down. Now, being an anthology story, a lot of these stories end with little twist endings and things like that. And I don't think I'm going to point those out because I don't want to spoil the twists. Well, I take that back. Maybe there's 1 or 2 places I'll point that out, but as we go forward, just kind of keep that in mind. I'm not going to tell you the whole plot line. The writing here was okay. As the story developed, it kind of took a turn, and I'm not sure that it really sold me on the turn. But I imagine that there's supposed to be more, because it also kind of ended on a, yes, this story needs a little more fleshing out before it's done. Like, boom. The next story is Europa Outpost 6. Let's jump to that. Europa Moonbase Outpost 6. And this is all about, you got the space station. I really like the line work in this section. I can't show you like a lot of the other pages because she kind of takes her clothes off. So, fair warning there. But the line work here is really clean. It's really solid. It kind of feels like, how do I put this? It's like the book, was it Midnight Mystery or whatever? The artwork feels kind of like a squared up Bruce Timm. Yeah, squared up Bruce Timm, or maybe like Bruce Timm mixed with Jack Kirby, something like that. It's super confident. It's bold. This dude is just. I shouldn't say that. I don't remember who the artist was. This person's just laying down these like very confident lines, and it looks really good. The story here is they're at this abandoned communication. Well, it's not abandoned. They're at this malfunctioning communication station trying to get it working, and they can't. And as they go through the story, they uncover the reason why it's not working out, why they can't communicate back to Earth. And it's a pretty satisfying story. It's fairly simple, but pretty satisfying. Definitely a good second story. Now, this third story has me kind of feeling like I'm not sure how I feel about this because it's a weird one. So let me just jump ahead to that. This one was Magical Machinations. So let me jump to page 20. Not 12,020 or whatever that was. Okay, let's try that again. 20. There we go. So this story takes place while there's a war going on. One side of the war is technology, see the big robots. The other side, magic. See? Got dudes with wings. Clearly magic. Dude with sword. Magic, magic, magic. Both sides are like, ah, yes, we are the superior, true answer to the universe. I'm showing you the battle scene because it's like really dramatic. Then we transition from this fight to a family with a little girl, and that little girl gets lost in the woods. She uses some magic, and she ends up here. And then things happen. And I'm not going to tell you what those things were, but the very last panel of that story brought kind of, it wasn't the very last, one of the last panels of the story brought a little smile to my face. And I was like, yeah, I like where this is going. So, looking forward to more of that. The fourth story is the first one I didn't really get, if you know what I mean. So this one's titled Veiled, and I'm not quite sure what's going on. We have these people, they're living in this little community. It's kind of like M. Night Shyamalan's The Village. You know, you got people living this pastoral life, going to church, making stuff by hand. This dude's got kids, and they also have monsters. So the world got shrunk. There's some kind of, oh, you can see it right here. The Veil. There used to be more of the world, but nobody knows how much is left. So there's a scream from next door. Tells the kids, hide. And he goes to like look, and things progress from there. They talk about, what's going on. This was kind of a slow story at the start. Then some stuff started happening and it got more interesting. But so far, it doesn't feel very sci-fi. This looks straight up like some magic kind of stuff or something. So I don't really know what I think about this story. It didn't work for me in this one part, but maybe, you know, the second installment of the story will change that, and it will get more interesting. I don't know. I did want to call out that I like the line work here. The characters, even when they're a little exaggerated like this dude's arm is kind of crazy, but I like it. Like, what a dramatic, awesome pose that was. Little tone shading looks pretty cool. So I definitely like the way this looked. I just don't know so much about understanding it. I feel like I need the second part of the story to really judge what's going on there. Let's jump ahead to the next story, which is Marrow. So this was pretty interesting. Like, I was hooked on this from, I don't know, probably the first panel. So this dude here, he has like psychic powers, like he can see things other people can't see, and he's sent here to this world, which is like a tourist trap, for one purpose, and that purpose is to investigate. There's some kind of, I think they call it like black bone disease or something. There's something going on, and it affects people and it takes over them. Sounded kind of like cordyceps, like it changes how people behave or something. So he arrives on this planet. That's like the senator. I don't know if she runs the planet or if she's just high ranking or what, but she rolls in, greets him at the spaceport, assigns this lady to be his guide, and That's why I picked this page. I really liked that view. I liked everything about this story. I think the only thing I would say is I actually really want to see what this story would look like in color. Because I think that this scene here isn't just supposed to feel big and inspiring. I think it's supposed to have a bazillion colors in it. So you got casino here. So I'm thinking like Las Vegas, man. There should just be colors of all different light just streaming every which way. And it should be kind of like eye melting. That's why I picked this page. So I like this story quite a bit. It was a good time. This next story was pretty satisfying. So you got this smuggler dude, and I don't know if you ever saw that episode of Star Trek Voyager where they're like smuggling psychics through a section of space where psychics are illegal or whatever. You don't. If you haven't watched that, I don't blame you. It was Star Trek Voyager. Come on. But anyway, I digress. I digress from my Star Trek Voyager rant. Dude has like AI is illegal, so dude's about to get inspected here. This guy, the dude, has got AI on board ship, and so we get like immediately a very tense situation, and it stays tense like right up into the last page. Really good, very enjoyable. I really like his design. Look at all the little wrinkles and folds in his leather jacket here. Like, looks great. Definitely enjoyed that. The robots look like, okay, like some rejects from Star Wars, but that's okay. I mean, that's clearly an R2 unit. Who knows what the walking fridge is? It might be a walking fridge. It's probably a walking fridge. But they look kind of cool. They're definitely like kind of lived in sci-fi. This whole story feels that kind of lived in sci-fi feeling, and I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it was like the best story I've ever read, but it was certainly really solid. And I certainly, when I got to the end, was like, I could use some more of that. The next story here, number 52, is Remnant. This is probably a weaker one. So this dude has and his crew have landed on this planet, and man, I don't know how much I can say without spoiling it. Let me just say, I like the backgrounds. The starry stuff like this. Oh, this just looks too cool. Yeah, I don't know how to explain this story without spoiling it. It's okay. So this dude and his crew landed. They're all dead except for him. Hence the name Remnant, I'm pretty sure. And he's kind of wandering the planet, searching for, probably searching for death. Let's put it that way. He's ready to just go away. And he's not alone. There's something there with him. And so they have an encounter. And it's, for him, it's a very stressful time. Man, look at the reflection in the glass here. That is super cool. I didn't notice that till I was just looking at that just now. That's some cool attention to detail. Let's go to page 62. This was Space Blood, although the way I wrote it, it looks like Spin Blood when on my little notepad here, which is kind of funny. A little bit of like film noir kind of stuff going on here. So we're at a bar. There's this lady. She's the main character. She's special. Everybody wants her because of that. As dude rolls into town, this little guide robot took him here to the bar. He starts chatting her up. And things are kind of fun. You're stupid. I've been called much worse. But you're also cute. What's your name? Ooh, he found his end. He found his opening right there. Uh, there's this one panel here. His face right here kind of sticks out because the art style there feels different from the art style everywhere else. And that's why I actually chose this page. Because you look at all the other faces. And maybe it's an angle thing too. But you never really see a nose drawn like this anywhere else in this story. It just really stuck out to me for some reason. He also looks kind of like a frat boy or something. Like he just got out of college or whatever. He's got like this right here. He just needs to be wearing an ascot instead of a tie or something to really sell it. But I guess it's not really kind of giving too much away. People want what she has. She doesn't want them to have it. It's a noir story, so you know somebody's going to get shot by the end of it. We'll just leave it at that. And then the last story is called Argosy. We go to page 68. And fair warning, the very beginning of this story has some stuff that gets you in trouble on YouTube. Um, but we immediately jump into like this very lived-in kind of grungy sci-fi. It kind of harkens back to the Smuggler thing, where his world was very kind of lived in, and then the kind of grunginess from the very beginning of the book. It's a great way to bookend the book. Bookend the book. Yeah, I guess that works. These people are like miners, but they're illegal miners. Um, she runs the ship, and they're here. They're going to go get stuff and hopefully get out before the cops arrive. And I did not see at all where this story was going when it went where it was going, which was very pleasant. And I may have just spoiled the story for you, but I don't think I really did. I love the designs. I love all this heavy darkness everywhere. Like, feels real, if that makes sense. Kind of like if you go watch Alien or Star Wars, you know, those worlds feel lived in. This world feels lived in. And I definitely enjoyed that. But yeah, the stuff that goes on in this story, not what I expected. And I had a good amount of fun reading it. So I guess overall, like, I pretty much like this book. I wish some of this stuff was in color. I wish some of this stuff was a little longer. I wish some of the stories were complete instead of being split into like part one of three. But pretty good. There's certainly a lot of material here. Like those If anthologies, you know, they were like 200 or so pages in length. This is like 70 pages in length, which is a pretty good length for a. I'm assuming this comes out staple bound, so that's really pretty thick for staples. You get much thicker than that, you got to go to like square binding it because it's just getting too dang big. So check out Speed of Light #1. I will hopefully remember to include a link to the Indiegogo down below. Let me just kind of drag that over here onto the screen so you can see it. It's still in demand, so you should be able to still be like, "Yo, I want this thing." $8 for the PDF. That doesn't sound too bad. There's certainly a whole heck of a lot of material here. You're getting 9 stories, 70 or so pages. That's pretty chunky. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, you all take care of yourselves. You have a great day. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hope to see you again next time. Until then, bye bye.